Laetitia is in the house.
All right, let's get it started then. Hi, everyone. I am Ari Engel, the Director of Creative Community for Peace. Thank you so much for joining us today. We literally are going to have over 1,000 people tuning in from all over the world, which is absolutely amazing. People on Zoom, people on Facebook. For those of you who don't know, Creative Community for Peace is a nonprofit entertainment industry organization comprised of many prominent members of the entertainment community who have come together to promote the arts as a bridge to peace. Additionally, we are also one of the leading organizations countering anti-Semitism within the entertainment community. To learn more about our work and support our work, you can simply go visit ccfpeace.com. I am absolutely pumped about our panel discussion today. This is truly going to be something special. I know David Lonner is already excited about it. And we are excited to present you a discussion with members from the hit Israeli television series Fauda. For those joining us in Zoom, you can leave questions in the Q&A section, and we'll get to as many as possible at the end of the event. But just know we are seeing them, and we won't get to all of them. To briefly introduce our panelists, our first guest plays the hard-hitting Nurit. We are welcoming Rona-Lee Shimon to the panel.
Hi.
Our next guest played Dr. Shirin Abed during the first 2 seasons of the show. We are excited to have Laetitia Eido with us today. Next is Shin Bet's top interrogator, Captain Gabi Ayub. We are excited to have Itzik Cohen with us today.
Hello.
And the man behind the scenes making it all happen, Fauda director for the last 2 seasons, Rotem Shamir, is also with us today. Finally, we are fortunate to have a great moderator, as I mentioned, one of our advisory board members who is the former head of film at William Morris and is a current head of the David Lonner Company, manages clients over the years such as J.J. Abrams. David Lonner, take it away.
Thank you for that, and I'm so excited to be able to do this. I absolutely love this show. I find it to be such a combination of being humanistic and authentic in that way. The culture, the warmth, the way that we're all connected together, Arabs and Jews, and I'm so thrilled to be here and have a bunch of questions I want to ask all of you. Mainly about background and everything else, and the show is so impressive just as a production, and you know, one of the things that I sometimes have arguments about, because as you guys probably know, the creative community for peace isn't political. It's really about just art for art's sake, and that should never be blocked or judged, and we do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that artists get to perform in Israel. And the thing that's so wonderful about this show, A, it does make Israelis look good. B, it does show the commonality, as I said, between the Arabs and the Jews in terms of the culture. And there's a whole kind of, for I think us, you know, in the Western world, or certainly on, you know, here in the United States, the ability to take that travelogue and the warmth of the Mediterraneano atmosphere, even, you know, whether you're a terrorist or you're, you know, part of the other side. So it's just a wonderful entertainment, as I said, but being really able to get deep inside the characters. So I just applaud you all for the making of it, for the performances of it, which are so authentic. And Laetitia, we miss you so much. And I hate to be a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen all of season 2, but you know, you were such a great, beautiful presence, and you know, you really just lit up all those scenes that you know, that you were in. And I heard that you didn't know Arabic before this role came around.
First, thank you very much, and I miss Shirin as well. I miss her. I actually still don't know Arabic because I'm learning phonetically, like a lot of actors but I have some words and I can just speak a little words, not even sentences, but it's fine. It's a way to enter a character and to, it's more exciting actually.
Yeah, and did you have, and I know that part of the thing about any community, you know, here in America, we have Southern accents, we have New York accents, Midwestern accents. Did you work with a specialist in a certain kind of Arabic accent? Was there only because, you know, one of the things that I loved about the suspense and drama of it is that certainly, like, you know, Walid could pick up every kind of nuance of the language of the culture, as probably, you know, Itzik's character would be able to if he was interrogating someone. So I'm just curious as to the
Yeah,
detail.
no, actually well, one of the specificities of this show is that we didn't have a lot of budget for everything. And we didn't really have a dialogue coach either. So the way we worked is I asked my dialogues to be recorded, and I was just repeating for hours until I get the right accent. And that's the way to do it. So I don't even know if my accent is good or not. I guess it's good because they said it's good. But this is the way we worked. And it's fine. I think it's okay.
And we're speaking to you from where? From France?
Paris. I'm in Paris.
Yes. And okay, well.
Lockdown as well.
Yes. No. I know. And are you a comedian as well?
You mean stand up and all that?
Yeah, I'm only asking because when I did it, you know, obviously I went
behind the camera. I'm very funny.
No, okay, all right. As when I did a background.
Rotem can tell.
When I
Rotem knows.
Yeah, there was when I you know, looked at your past work. One of the things that it said was that you were a comedian. So I didn't know if that was one of the ways.
I guess it's because in French, actress, the word for actress is comédienne.
Ah. Okay.
So maybe someone mixed up things, maybe. But I'm also doing theater, and I'm alone on stage, so that's and sometimes I'm quite funny.
Yeah, understand. Rona-Lee, this role, this kind of badass role of you being a lone woman in this you know, kind of macho world. What part of the what unit of the army were you in?
I didn't go to the army, actually. I was dancing ballet at the time. I'm dancing since I was 3 years old, and by the time I was 17, I got into the Royal Ballet Academy in Amsterdam, and it was a really tough decision, and I didn't really know what to do. And I got a scholarship, and it was one of the hardest choices that I had to do in my life.
I saw a piece that you did called Dance of the Sugarplum Fairies with this incredible bass player. I don't know if he's an Israeli musician, but Alex Bershadsky. I just thought it was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Was that part of what you did in Amsterdam growing up, or?
We shot it here. It was actually a project. They reached out to me. I was at a drama school at the time, and they just wanted me to dance in his video. And I said yes immediately because he's so talented, and I really wanted to be in that project, and so I did it.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it on YouTube, but and was that your kind of discovery into acting? And that's one question. The other question I have for you is, who was the role model that you kind of saw yourself as you were researching and preparing for the role?
Your first question again?
I'm sorry, because they're two different questions. My first question was the dance of the Sugarplum Fairies your entree into acting, or were there other things that you were doing beforehand?
I was doing a TV show before I went to drama school, and then I think I discovered through that role that I can act, and I was very intrigued. Like the more I did it, the more I wanted to learn more about it. And when the question came up, like what narrative, where am I going? I knew that I wanted to be on stage, and reading Waiting for Godot, which is one of my favorite plays. And I think it was the first time that I read a story and kind of knew it was a revelation to me that you could, I mean, I knew actors and I was watching film. I just didn't think, it wasn't my world. And I think Waiting for Godot kind of pushed me into wanting to tell stories that way. And that's what kind of pushed me to go to acting school. And then immediately, and all the way to Fauda.
And in this role of Nurit, was there a role model? Was there somebody that you researched, try to emulate, looked at to get into the headspace of the role?
That's a very interesting question. No, I think for some reason the nuance of the fight of a woman in a man's world was pretty clear to me because I'm a woman. And I think the first interaction that I had with the guys was the first Krav Maga practice that we all had. And, I knew everyone, but not personally. And we started fighting, and I was like, you guys, you have to hit me like real time, like just hit me hard. And they're like, chill, you're fine. We're just learning choreography. And I think it was the first time Nurit started kicking in, and she came to me during the process of just preparing for the role.
Great. Just to say that there are some very hard-hitting emotional scenes that I thought were handled just with a tremendous amount of pain, given that the society in Israel, it really is the everybody knows someone. I have to imagine, I mean, this question is actually for all of you, that a lot of those scenes are from real life situations in terms of what, Israelis have to, or, have to endure.
Sure.
Yeah. Itzik Cohen, he got on early, so I was letting him know. I just love this character. Your character has such a warmth to him, and then such a ruthless, cold side, that it's almost Jekyll and Hyde, and yet somehow it really makes sense in the context of the actual role which you inhabit. I'll just ask the same question, which is, does any of this come from your own experience in the military, or how did you get into this mindset, and also did you have to learn Arabic beforehand? Oh, you're on mute. You were on mute. Sorry.
Like this?
Yeah, you're good.
I'm good?
Yes, we can hear you.
First of all, I had to learn Arabic because I didn't know a word. I just knew a few curses in Arabic. So I had to learn everything from scratch. And by that, well, it's like being a parrot, saying your lines all over again, 100 times, 200 times until it sounds right. During my army, I never had a gun. I never held a gun, only on the first month. And in every scene, they asked me, give Captain Ayub a gun. I said, no, I'm I have my microphone, or it's enough for me. I don't need a gun.
Very funny. Phonetically though, you know, your pronunciation. I mean, I don't know Arabic, but the pronunciation is you know, sounds it sounds like music the way you you know, the way you say it. So I just want to compliment you on your diction and your elocution. It's really it's just wonderful to listen to.
As a matter of fact, yesterday, Avi Saskharov, one of the creators of Fauda, told me that the personal assistant of Abu Mazen, the head of the Palestinians, asked me to send him a video because he loves Captain Ayub so much. He was sure I knew Arabic in a way, so I had to improvise in the few words I already know to send him my best wishes.
So, like Laetitia was telling us beforehand, is it just you're reading phonetically, and you're basically just saying the lines, or
No.
Do you feel after the experience you actually know how to speak Arabic and you can go into a restaurant and converse with someone?
First of all, I can go into a restaurant all around the world. They will understand what I want. And second of all, we had this tutor, this instructor, who I used to record him saying the words. But before I used to record the words, I always discuss about what I'm saying. So I love to ad-lib. Rotem knows that. I love to improvise and to do it in my own words. It became that the guy who's doing the dubbing for Captain Ayub on Netflix called me and he told me, I know you ad-lib on Hebrew, but how the hell can you ad-lib on Arabic? I said, I catch one of the actors or one of the person on the set that knows Arabic, and I add my own words because sometimes I think a bit of humor is helping the situation.
Yeah, it's such a listen. It's a lovable character. Rotem, tell me, you know, the production that you both manage, direct, is extraordinary, especially for, you know, the budget that we hear that it is. And, you know, as I've said, it reminds me of the shows that I loved growing up. Everything from, you know, Mission Impossible to, believe it or not, The $6 Million Man, you know, to 24. And it obviously has a verite Paul Greengrass kind of style, you know, in kind of the Bourne Identity way. And I just was curious about your influences. It's just such a polished, well-acted, emotional kind of roller coaster. And again, you know, one of the things that I love about it, which, you know, to rise above the political conversation, is it is an entertainment, because I know that some of the things, you know, are things that haven't happened or, you know, would never happen. But just curious as to, you know, stylistically and where you come from on this.
I definitely agree with you that Fauda is not a per se political show. We don't treat it as one. We feel it's a world that the characters are basically crashing again and again over. And of course, some of it is based on things that happened and some of it is made up. But basically what interests us in Fauda is the characters and their own personal journey with the, you know, with the backlash of course, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. But it's not a political show. We do treat it like entertainment. It's supposed to be gripping and a good tension action show that will kind of keep you at the edge of your seat. So that's where we stand when in the creative input, I think. The sense of realism, I think, that you are talking about with the handheld camera and of course relying on as much as we can facts and truths, is also something that we kind of decided from the get-go that we're going to keep a very close eye on. And, you know, we have people that advise us, you know, from different fields that we're dealing with Fauda, but we try to keep as truthful as we can to the source material, because I think this is where it's a kind of a show that if you start faking it, it will immediately pop up in a sense. Yeah, it's a very Israeli show in the sense that we're all, friendly on set. It's noisy, it's sweaty, it's long hours, it's nights. It's kind of like a battlefield in a sense. Also in the sense that we're all together for the same target, and we all feel that they're doing an important thing. And I think those kind of things kind of shine through on the screen. I think that's kind of one of the secret behind the success of Fauda, I think, is that we kind of have sweat, blood, and tears literally coming out of us, and you guys can see it. So that's Fauda.
Yeah, it's actually a great way of putting it. I mean, in my experience in this business, most of the time when you go visit a set and there's a sense of camaraderie and collaboration, and even warmth, that usually is exuded in the film. So that's really great to hear. So I'm just curious, Laetitia, I know you live in Paris, so but do you guys maintain a friendship outside of production, or a relationship, or is it work, which I would understand as well?
What did you say, Rotem?
I said I haven't seen you in a while. I miss you, man.
I know, I miss you too. Well, we met in Biarritz at a festival, actually, last time, I think. But yeah, we still speak on social media with some of the cast members, of course, with Lior sometimes. And I'm always happy to have news from Rona-Lee that I don't see enough. And well, it's hard to be out of a show that you love and with people that you really enjoyed working with, and suddenly you're just out of it. So it was a bit hard, but if I want to see them, I have to watch Fauda again.
Were you told at the beginning of the season that you were going to be killed off? Did you know that in terms of the arc of your character? Or did that happen? Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because I have to learn my lines way in advance. So
yeah.
At one point I said, well, what happens after this episode? Where am I? And yeah, I understood why.
We don't block in Israel, so we shoot all episodes at the same time. So it's not like the actors know what happens.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, we I don't know for others, because I'm coming for a period of time that we have to shoot everything while I'm here. So of course I know what's happening in the next episodes. It's not a surprise. Yeah. It was a sad surprise, but it's a surprise. But I understand on a scenaristic way, no, scenaristically, Rotem say it scenaristically. It's a good decision because it makes, it's a decision.
No, listen, I understand that it's the course of the whole season is shot. So if there's a location that is episode 3 and episode 5 and episode 8, I guess that's your production process.
I don't think it was your last scene either, Laetitia, right? It wasn't your last scene at all. So we
No, yeah, we shot it in the middle of the process. Yeah.
It was, listen, it was like I said, it was really sad to see you go because it was such a compelling character, and you and Lior really did have, fantastic chemistry.
But Doron will always be in love with Shirin,
Yeah.
He can, whatever happens,
Yeah. Listen, the pain that Doron put you through, it was pretty excruciating. You gave him a lot of chances to redeem himself, but
we're planning
as we learn about that character, he can't help himself.
Yeah, true.
We'll do a spin-off, Shirin's Revenge.
Say what?
We'll do a spin-off, Shirin's Revenge. We'll have Laetitia come back.
Exactly. You can't imagine how many messages I got from all over the world saying, we're gonna sign, write a letter to the production, write a letter to Netflix, we want you back. And I have an idea, you're coming back as a ghost. Oh no, maybe they didn't kill you up. Maybe it was, like a trick. And
Are you talking about me?
that was,
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lior Raz.
What's up?
I know this voice.
Wonderful. Lior,
Where are you?
so great that you joined our Zoom call here. You are the reason for this show. Lior is obviously the star and co-creator along with Avi Zakharov of Fauda. I know that so much of these storylines are, of course, made up, but so many of them come from personal experience that you had. And I just want to say, as a fan of the show, thank you so much for creating it. I love the story of also you kind of being a nobody when you went out to sell this show. When you and Avi, took this show out to the marketplace, you got turned down until, yes said yes. But the reason that I love that is that, in my business and certainly what I do, the discovery is the most fulfilling, satisfying thing. And when you see a piece of talent, whether or not they've done anything before, but the writing is there, or the voice is there, and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, you have something. So it's almost, for me, when I heard the story, it reminded me of the Sylvester Stallone Rocky story. And it must be a well. Listen, you've shown your boxing prowess in this season. So anyway,
It's quite,
welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's quite similar. It's not similar because I'm not Sylvester Stallone, and but in the beginning when we started to write the show, and we went to the broadcasters, all the broadcasters in Israel to present our project. And nobody wanted it. Not Keshet, not Reshet, not Channel 10, nobody wanted it. And I remember that our producers told us, listen, probably it won't work, so let's concentrate on another project or just leave it. But then we went to Yes, and they said yes, of course. But after that, we wrote the show for me to be the lead actor, to play Doron. But then the Yes channel said, listen, nobody knows you in Israel. We need someone to lead the show. They called it an A-lister. And I wasn't an A-lister in those days. I hope I am today. And I said, I was so furious. I wanted to kill someone because I heard this. And in the end of the day, I said, okay, let's have an auditions for that role. And we actually auditioned many Israeli actors to play Doron. And in the end when they had in the casting meeting, the big casting meeting, there was a picture of me and a picture of another very talented actor. And our director asked them, after who you're gonna walk, you're gonna run in the battlefield. And everybody pointed at me, and this is how I got the job on my show.
That's great. No, listen, it reminds me of the Stallone situation, because when Stallone wrote Rocky, the studios said, yeah, we really like the script, but you're not known, and so we're not going to bank the movie on you. And so it has a very similar story. Anyway, listen, your character is so intense, and I've been saying to me, it's an amalgamation of everything that I loved about Mission Impossible, Bourne Identity, the old 24 show. While I know a lot of the stuff is made up, and again, the thing that's so great about it and is the human drama behind the scenes, and then the actual balagan that happens. But I know so much of this is from your own background, and so what would you say the percentage of some of the truth of the stories are?
So first of all, as you said, we wanted to create a good drama in the TV show. I never had an affair with a Palestinian doctor, never in my life. But I was in a war zone. I was undercover, me and Avi, and we fought. We know how it works. We know we were in operations that were very similar to the some of the operation that we see in the show. So it's part of it's part of it. I had many the mental price that those people are paying for their actions. I think me and Avi paid as well. So we put it in the show. I was suffering from post-traumatic disorder for a long time. I didn't know that until I met 10 years ago a therapist. Actually, I told him that I came because I got married, so I didn't know that I have PTSD, and then he actually told me that I have a PTSD, and I think through that creation that we created, me and Avi, I think both of us got some, we had this healing process because of that show. For Avi and for me as writers, but also for me as an actor to go back and to do all those kind of things again and again and again, I think it's a big healing process.
That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, the catharsis of that, and you feel it because Doron is a man of extremes. Extreme love and warmth and understanding and ruthless killer.
But you know what? The difference between Doron and 24 and Jason Bourne, that they are winning all the time. Doron is losing all the time. He's not winning, never at all. He's just losing and keep losing and keep losing and keep losing. And this is, I think, the magic of this character, that he's kind of a hero, but he's not a hero because he's losing everything around him.
Yeah. He's got protexia from up above. Yeah. What is the process in terms of putting together the seasons? Is it you and Avi and then to Rotem? Do you have other seasons mapped out as we go along right now? The show is obviously such a huge sensation. I would say within the Hollywood entertainment industry. I know it's a big hit on Netflix as well, but in terms of the critical mass here in Los Angeles, people rave about it and are as addicted to it as any other show on streaming right now.
Yeah, we just realized yesterday that Fauda is #1 on Netflix in Lebanon.
Wow.
Yeah, and #4 in the UAE, and #4 in India. So it's huge now. It's big. And but I'll answer your question. The process of the writing, I think me and Avi come with the stories, and then every time we have a lead writer that's working with us, because this show, it was the first time that me and Avi ever wrote anything. So we needed someone who will show us how to write and how to do it technically. And after we're writing it together and the plot, and then we're bringing another writers to write dialogues as well. All the time we are talking to Rotem and to get his point of view of what we are writing as a director and as a writer, because he's a very talented writer. And so he helps us a lot during the process. And I think it's like a kibbutz, it's kind of, you come to the dining room and everybody fights together and they're screaming and shouting and laughing and dancing and drinking. In the end of the day, we have a show. Yeah. And yes, we're writing the 4th season right now.
Wonderful. Laetitia, a quick question for you, which is, as Lior just said, the show is #1 in Lebanon. I know you're French Lebanese. Do you hear that from friends?
Yeah.
Has it been well received within your family, within your community?
Well, like everywhere in the world, some people don't like the show or think, that is not balanced enough. We hear that. But I really receive a lot of messages as well saying that in Lebanon, the show is a huge success. So I didn't know it was #1 in Lebanon. So it's big news. And I think it's great.
Yeah, well, listen, again, and certainly the American film industry has been guilty of, portraying the, in the way we portray, the black and white of good and bad, of all Arab terrorists being bad until recently. I mean, but that had been the history for a long time. And the thing that again, just the humanistic nature of the nuance of the backgrounds of these people, and the cultural attentions are really make it great. Rotem, can you talk about the team dynamics in terms of how things play out on set, and because you really as you were saying, it's just you really do feel this enthusiasm of collaboration. You see it in all the press materials. I was watching some of the Cohen stuff, which was really fun to watch from a couple of years ago. But the sense of camaraderie that the team has in the show, and also the just the professional dynamics that occur. I was just curious, as it almost becomes one of the same.
First of all, I think the Fauda team that formed in the show are our team off screen as well. We became good friends, and I think that dynamic definitely comes across to the screen. Just in the chemistry between the actors, and in even in the small little details of humor or stuff like that. But I think what you're talking about in terms of the action of the show. So a lot of us come with military background, and these are not actors that are being necessarily instructed by weapons specialists on the set, but are actors that have held weapons in their life and have been in battle situations, and that by itself creates this, I think, very unique authenticity to to the way that they move in the field and everything. The other thing is that we treat every action scene in Fauda like a military operation in a sense, and we come, we choose the location, we come there with all the people, and we plan all the moves, and it's basically like conquering, a target in that sense. On you run with the cameras as it happens. So what you see on screen is a lot of it is what really is happening on the field. We use a lot of pyrotechnics. We use, of course, a lot of amazing computer work as well. But a lot of pyrotechnics on the set, and live bullets and stuff, like not live bullets, but live rounds. So that definitely, I think, contributes to that kind of atmosphere.
Lior, I know we only have you for a little bit, so I just want to ask you. Obviously, you become the Israeli James Bond, and I know that you're writing a couple of new television projects and screenplay for a film. Is there anything you can tell us about that? Is that also for you to star in? Just so curious about this persona that you've now created and where you go with it.
So first of all, I'm not James Bond. Look at me. I'm not James Bond. But yeah, we are now producing a new TV show for Netflix called Hit and Run. We were shooting in New York we were there for 5 months, and in Israel, but we stopped the production because of the coronavirus. We'll be back. Now we're editing it. It's about an Israeli guy who's got married to an American woman, dancer. She's having an accident, and all his life he's going to New York, and he's trying to find who killed her. It's about the relationship between Israel and the U.S. So it's 20% Hebrew, and the rest is English, with a lot of American actors. And we also we have another project with Netflix and another movie that we're writing now. Yeah, we have a lot of projects that and I played the lead role in Hit and Run as well, not as James Bond, but as Lior.
Right, wonderful. Rona-Lee, what are you up to? I feel like there's so much. Again, not only being the only woman, but the strength of your character, and her ability to be, both kick-ass and vulnerable. And just to say, you have, I was going to say, did you grow up in America? You have no accent. What have you been across the pond here and looking at things to do here? What's in store for you?
No, I didn't grow up in America, but I love accents and I love language, and it sounds like music to me. And I think I have a theory that it's just listening to classical music since I'm young, and I think it kind of developed an ear for me. And that's, I think, why I sing too, and I do a lot of musical theater. Lior.
Sorry.
Yeah, I did Messiah with Netflix, and I was supposed to shoot something in April, and now it's postponed. But yeah, I'm looking to work in the States, and just looking for the next right role and project for me, and just being able to create more colorful characters as Nurit, which I love what you said about her. It's very precise, and I love that the writers gave her that kind of an arc, and that kind of like being able to tell a deep emotional story. So
yeah, wonderful.
I'm sorry, but I have to leave.
Lior, thank you for surprising us, and also for delivering such a wonderful show, and good luck with all.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Talk to me.
Bye-bye. We've got so many questions that have been thrown in from the audience that we have. If you don't mind, I'm going to throw them out there, and the one who has the instinct to answer, please feel free to jump in. First one is from Ricky Harkavi. How did the filming of Fauda affect the interpersonal relationships between the Jewish and Muslim actors of the show?
We're all one big happy family on set and off set as well. Once you have artists creating, these kind of labels don't matter anymore. It's just simple as that. It doesn't have to do with whether they're Arab actors or Israeli actors, or Jewish actors. It doesn't mean a lot to us in Fauda. And I'm not saying that, to kind of blow our own horn, but it's just that, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but it's a non-issue in the best way, I think.
I think totally. We had very surreal few moments for me in season 1 because we shot during the war, and I think it was such an incredible thing to know that we are creating an art together, Arabs and Israelis, during the war. It was just so surreal and beautiful, and kind of art, surpassing reality, and it was incredible. And also, I think from the people in the villages that we shoot, that hosted us in such a generous way, right? I felt it a lot in Kfar Qasim. Yeah.
Let me expand upon that answer that you just gave, because I don't think this has been discussed, but I've heard this story as I was, doing some research on the creation of it. But it was the first season that you guys put off first day of shooting because of the war in Gaza, correct? So this is what you're referring to, which I think, I know that there were, I think there was an American production going on at the time. I think Dig was that. No, there was some American Israeli production.
I think it was.
Yeah, and the idea that y'all just decided, you know what, this is life in Israel, I guess, and had the resilience and wherewithal just to go do it is kind of remarkable at the beginning of this war. I happen to have been in Israel at that time, and I was walking along the Tayela towards Jaffa, and I look to my left, and a guy kind of in the park area all of a sudden points to the sky, and I look up, and there's, you know, the Iron Dome hitting, you know, a rocket right in front of me. And it was, you know, startling, dramatic. By coincidence, I was ending up going back that night. But the idea that, you know, you guys just kept on shooting, I thought was really remarkable. And I guess in that kind of trauma, it does bond you.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah. Okay, here's a kind of a little bit of a provocative question from Alison Alti.
Provocative, that's it.
Little provocative. While I don't underestimate any of our real life enemies, do you ever wonder if some of the storyline in Fauda may be giving more ideas to the actual real life terrorists, criminals, and the like?
I don't think they need any more ideas. People have all kinds of ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were going to say the same, Rona-Lee?
What?
You were going to say the same?
Yeah, I think reality surpasses everything we will ever do on the show. Unfortunately, right? But it's yeah. No, I don't think we pushed any new ideas.
Yeah. There was a very funny question I wish I would have asked Lior, which is, does he actually really drink Turkish coffee outside of the show?
Yeah,
but I'll save that for another time.
it's the only coffee we drink.
Say what?
All the time. That's what the coffee we drink here. Yeah. That's
No, I understand. I have an Israeli girlfriend. That's what we love to drink as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, here's a good question from Nathaniel Amirian. Do you guys do all your own stunts, or are they performed by stunt men or women?
A lot of it is the actors. A lot of it.
Yeah, I don't think the production would have. We don't have enough budget to give us. So it's like, good luck to you. No, and I don't think we need to send that. I think we weren't off planes. I mean, I would hope I would get a stunt double for that, but yeah, we do everything ourselves.
And I was locked down for 2 seasons everywhere, so I'm just locked down in a hotel, in a hospital, in my house. So no stunts for me.
In the last season, the end of last season, we had a scene where we had to the team is kind of like burying alive a guy in the middle of the desert. So we dug the hole, and we're about to put him in a yellow scorpion crawls out of the sand. And he's like, I'm getting in there, that's where I'm going. And we're like, yeah, that's where you're going, buddy. And he went in, the sand on him. That's how it happened. There was no stunts there or anything.
Have you all been, and I'll start with Itzik, have you been surprised by the global reception of this, and again, how has it changed your life as an actor?
Well, it was a big surprise. No one ever thought this is going to be such a hit. When we did the first season, I thought we did something, I thought so little, so many, I thought, how do you say, only few people is gonna watch this series. It's such a niche series. Of course, we are very surprised. Of course, the boom of Netflix all around the world it's amazing, really.
Question that just came in. Do you guys improvise your roles, or do you stick specifically to the script?
Yeah, it's like Itzik said, those kind of things that are being, I don't think we're a strict show at all. I mean, I now having worked, for example, on the show that Lior just talked about. I was directing one of the episodes there, an American show, and it's, you know, they stick to the script in a very strict way. I don't think we're strict in Fauda, but we do follow, you know, the dialogue. I think the guys, when they bring in, like Itzik said on Ayub, you know, a humorous moment that wasn't written but creates this, you know, unique, really moment, you never want to lose it. So
also about my character, at the very beginning, Avi and Lior were really open-minded about everything I asked for. I said that I wanted to change some things about her, and they were happy to receive new ideas. Sorry?
Sorry.
I'm not talking to me.
No, Laetitia, finish. So
yeah, and so we were really feeling free to add some ideas, add some sentences even, and so yeah, the fact that they were so open-minded at the very beginning of the show, and then the characters were built, so we just stick to our characters. But at the beginning, we were allowed to create with them in a way, and that's really rare. Actually, it was really a big chance, a big luck to do that.
Yeah. Rona-Lee, you wanted to say something? Oh, I thought you signaled me.
No,
Maybe
sorry.
not. No, that's okay. No, listen, like I said, one of the things that I really responded to, Laetitia, in your character, is just feeling this pain of the pull of your heart and of your responsibility, and also to sometimes what felt like genuine disgust for what you had to do to you know, to stay alive. And so that when the character does unfortunately finally implode, while it's always shocking to see something like that, the way you portrayed your character was very understandable about why it had to end so badly for you. Not that you ever want to see that, but it was just heartbreaking. And again, I'm
Thank
sorry
you
for missing you.
Thank you so much.
You know,
I think also what's interesting about Shirin is that she's this character is portraying a very strong Arab woman at a high position in social life, and she's a doctor. And what is interesting, and Rotem, I'm sure you know that, but at the very beginning as well, she was supposed to sell groceries at the corner of the streets, or another corner, maybe at her uncle's shop. And one of the script supervisor or writer was a woman, and the only woman in the team said, "No, guys, it's not gonna be this kind of woman." And she has done minimum 4 years, you know, of high university, and she's gonna be a doctor or something. And Shirin changed totally from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed being these strong women, because they really exist in the Arab world. And by the way, someone asked about Muslim and Jewish, and don't forget that in the Arab world you have a lot of Christians as well. I mean, it's more complex than just Jewish and Muslims. And yeah, and I enjoyed that I'm able with this role to show that these women exist, and they have and they can be more seen on screen, and it's not often the case. So this is also something really important that Fauda is bringing.
Yeah,
I think
I agree. Bringing, listen, strong women, especially, you know, obviously in the age that we're in right now, is part of the cultural zeitgeist, and it's great to see that kind of strength coming from both of you. You know, both in terms of you know, kind of the emotional fierceness, and also the physicality is great as well. All right, so we are going to wrap things up, but before we do, I have one last question for each of you, which is, what are you watching right now that you're loving, being in isolation? So ladies first, Rona-Lee, I'll start with you.
I just finished Narcos Mexico, which was incredible. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I can't believe it's over. I want to die. It's brilliant.
Great. Rotem?
I watched the movie Prisoners last night for the first time. After a long time, I wanted to watch it. I don't know why I haven't watched it until last night. The Denny, what's his name? It's really hard to pronounce, the director. Denny. Laetitia, you know the guy.
Oh,
no.
you also directed Blade Runner.
Oh, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah, we can't wait for Dune, by the way.
Right.
No.
Yeah, no, that was a very, very, very powerful film. Laetitia, what are you watching?
I actually watch Hunters with my friend Ronald Gutman, and I say hi because I know he's watching. And we just played together in a French movie, and so I wanted to see him in that show. It was very interesting.
Well, we have a mutual friend.
I know.
Itzik, your turn.
Well, I watch QVC. No, I don't. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV at all. My kids are using the television. I don't have any time for TV. And I'm reading, and I don't watch the news. That's for sure. And I have to tell you something for the finale. You asked about the Arab actors and the Jews actors acting together. And I think when you have the same goal and a good leader as Rotem, everything is possible. So you only have to have one goal, and that's the production. Doing Fauda is a great goal.
Well, I think that's actually also a great way to think about, in trying to think about the bigger picture of things right now, is that we all have to be rowing in the same direction in this world in order to really heal it at this moment. And it's great that a show like this can actually bring conversations between Arab and Israelis, both on a pop cultural basis, but also on a human level. And I just applaud you guys for everything that you bring to the show. It's just such a grand entertainment and wonderful thing to see from Israel. And I thank you so much for your participation here, and wish you the best of luck, and hope to see you in Haaretz very soon.
Before we go, David, what are you watching right now? What's your favorite shows right now?
I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm watching The Plot Against America, which I think is extraordinary, and that's bringing me back to The Wire, which I kind of watched in fits and starts when it was on, and now realizing the genius of David Simon. It's kind of bringing me back to that.
Yeah, I actually recently watched Top Boy, which was re-brought out recently, and it's almost like a British version of The Wire. So I recommend that. As Rona-Lee said, I think Narcos is definitely one of the better shows that has come out recently. And obviously Fauda and another one, Homeland's wrapping up, which is another, obviously an Israeli spinoff. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. Anyhow, thank you guys so much. Once again, this was just an amazing panel discussion. The season's incredible. Everybody, I'm sure, that's listening here is already watching. For everybody, once again, Creative Community for Peace is a nonprofit organization, and we rely on donations to do our work. So please visit ccfpeace.com if you want to make a donation or you want to find out more about us. We also have many more panel discussions coming up, so definitely join our email list. We have some really exciting stuff in addition to some stuff about the Israeli TV and film industry. So thank you again so much. Everybody stay safe and be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
It's good to see you, Itzik and Rona-Lee and Rotem. Bye. And thank you, David. Thank you, Ari. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome. Bye.